Sorry, just a little bit late tonight. Hang on, I'll be right back. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Thump finger! Dude, what's up? Paul, hello, 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 hello. You know what? Where is that piece of paper? It's here someplace. Yep. You know, I wrote it down. Let me stop this music first of all. Okay. Good evening, everybody. First things first. My name is Bill. You're watching Bill's Box of Sound. Welcome to my usual Saturday night live stream, which happens just about every Saturday, usually. Can't guarantee it. At 10 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. And whatever that time is around the world, that's cool. Anyway, but I'm going to respond right away to Paul Ayers because he says, "Hey, Bill, hope you're doing well. Did you ever get a chance to check out Gastro del Sol? You won't regret it." Well, it's on my list of things to check out. So, and also, I intend to give the Residents album, Demons Dance Alone, another chance because I've heard several people online posting that they've bought the reissue and they're crazy about it. So, what can I say? The time that I did hear it, I was not impressed. But I'll have to give it another chance because, pardon me, Residents music can be very tough to get into. But I love the Residents. I've loved them since the 70s. So I don't know what my problem is. So let's see what we can do. Ooh, Kevin. Nice. A great crate dig, 40 records. Would you be willing to come on the screen and show us those records, Kevin? That would be ultra cool. I could put you on screen. Anyway, here's to you. Of course, I'm doing the past few hours congestion-free, cough-free, and all of a sudden I start the live stream and I'm coughing my brains out. But the possible reason for that is that I'm sitting here getting everything all finalized and ready to start doing my live stream. And 3 minutes before 10 o'clock, Roman runs down here and says, "Grandpa, something's wrong with the TV upstairs." So that's the TV that him and his mom use. So I said, okay, I can usually fix these things quickly. So I ran upstairs. Something happened with the Amazon Fire TV. It completely reset, and it required me to log back into my account. What a mess. But got it done, and I got down here by 1 minute after 10 so I can see all you folks. And happy to see you all. Thank you for stopping by. Very happy to see you. Got the usual. We've got the usual suspects here, and yeah, I haven't gotten any new albums this week. I've got like 5 records on order. Plus, the weather's been ridiculously hot, and I haven't had a chance to go crate digging. Haven't had a chance to go thrifting or anything like that. Now, that changes tomorrow, however, because there is a record show tomorrow at the Winchester Music Club in Lakewood. And there is a record fair that's being run by the Northeast Ohio Vinyl Club on Facebook. And I intend to go and see if there's anything I can find. Now, I used to DJ these things, but they never asked me to do it anymore. So, it's not a big problem. So, ooh, let's see what Kevin's got. He's got Mose Allison, Keith Jarrett. Woo, here we go. Oh, Rostropovich, Derek Trucks, and the list goes on. Very nice. Very nice. Hello, Nate Bouchard. And I said hello to Thump Finger already. And let's see. Who else we got here? I saw Mowgli in here earlier. And for some weird reason, he was asking if I got a chance to listen to the new Tool double album. What new Tool double album? Did they re-release a Fear Inoculum as a double album? I don't know. That was a weird release by Tool, wasn't it? I mean, they only put out like a ridiculously expensive CD version, which has this electronic things in there with the screen. It's battery powered and has some graphics going on. And then the only way you can get it on vinyl is in a pack that costs, I think, was over $100. Eventually, they did re-release it at a decent amount. Anyway, so yeah, I saw that you wrote JK. Just kidding. So, but let's see. Well, yeah, that is a good album, but I don't really think there is a bad Tool album. But one thing, and this is one reason why it's good to watch folks on the vinyl community. Who was it? Let me grab this album while I'm at it. There's a Tool record here that I have. Let's see. Is it this one? Is it Opiate? I think it is. Let's see. One thing that I was not aware of on this record, Opiate, which is it's live and studio stuff. There is, yeah, there it is. The first track on side 2, Cold and Ugly, has a hidden track on it. So, let me see if I can show this record. Okay, see that first track? It's this one here. Okay, that first track, Cold and Ugly, is supposed to be 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, and then the track right after it, Jerk Off, is 4 minutes and 22 seconds. But you take a look at it on there, and it's like about a third of the size. What's going on? I did not know, and I've had this record for, I think, 10 years or more. Yes, there is a second groove in there, and it's a hidden song. And it's really cool. Kind of like what Mr. Bungle did on the very first pressing of Disco Volante. They had a song hidden in the middle of the side. There was an extra groove in between the grooves, and you had to just pick up the needle, put it back down again until you heard something different, and then you got to hear that extra song. Now, when I got my copy of Mr. Bungle, it was a reissue, and it's got that extra song on it, but it's like sandwiched in, not as a separate groove, but as another cut. It's just the side is extra long. So that's crazy. So, oh, Kevin has more information here about the record show that he was at today. Says the community radio station had a 21st birthday party, 2 stages, 7 bands, and crate digging. Every time a crate was close to empty, they filled it up again. That sounds like a fun way to have a party. Yes, indeed. As I said a couple minutes ago, I've got like 4 or 5 albums already on order. And one pre-order that I did was, I think I got it written down here. No, it's not that one. I've been doing all sorts of stuff today. I've been busy. And I've been threatening myself that I'm going to pull all this stuff on Excel spreadsheets to keep track of everything. Anyway, yeah, there's 2 Jello Biafra records coming out. Well, one's a new one that's coming out, and the other one is a reissue. It's Jello Biafra with DOA, Last Scream of the Missing Neighbors. So I ordered this back in February, and they said that this is a pre-order. It may take up to 6 months to get it, and I'm still waiting. So it could be as late as August when I get that. But I was going through some boxes today because I'm trying to clear out and organize and get things a little bit more neater around here. As you can see, it never works. But let's see. I opened up a box of cassettes and look what I found. Jello Biafra with DOA, Last Scream of the Missing Neighbors, on cassette, of all things. So, I'm going to listen to that. Give myself a preview of the vinyl that's on its way to me. So that was a little happy discovery. Let's see what else. Oh my! Oh, wait a second. Let's see. Mowgli says that the Psych 3 CD just released Friday. There's some good songs, but I'm waiting for reviews on YouTube. But that's okay. And Kevin also says that every 30 minutes he would dig through the crate. The price on the records was whatever you wanted to donate. He also got a Les Paul Mary Ford and Chet Atkins 78s. That's cool. Let's see, Les Paul and Chet Atkins, eh? Hold on a minute. I bought this record, I cleaned it, but I still haven't listened to it, so this may be going on the turntable tonight. Chester and Lester on RCA. Yes, Chet Atkins and Les Paul. And this came out in 1976. Also available on 8-track and cassette. Very cool. So I may check that out. So we're kind of keeping it chill tonight. And Jim from Record Collector News says that it's a fantastic sounding record. Very cool. And good evening to you, Jim. It's good to see you. Good to see you. And also hoping that you folks are enjoying the new Frank Zappa release with the Mothers, 1968, Whiskey a Go Go. And you've seen the video that's been put up on YouTube. I believe there might be one other video they're going to put up concerning this release, because they've put up several episodes with Pam DeBar talking to Joe Travers, and then they put out this vault video where Joe synced up all this old footage that was shot on silent film back in 1968. And what he did is he figured out what was happening with the performance, and he synced up all the audio. It is fantastic. I love it. So, all right. But there's a new Zappacast out. We talked about that last week. There's talk of another Zappacast. Well, there's always talks of Zappacasts. So, you never know. He may do another one. Quick advertisement here. If you don't already have it, the Spudlock album called Meh is available on Bandcamp. Go to spudlock.bandcamp.com and you can purchase this record, or you can purchase a download of it. And as I keep on threatening, one of these days I'm going to make some handmade CDs and put those out as well. And good evening, Charlie Anderson. Let's see. Oh, greetings from being from Cleveland. Your thoughts on Rocket from the Tombs and Pierre Ubu? Love them. Love them. Been a fan of Pierre Ubu since the first album. As a matter of fact, let me pull out what Pierre Ubu I have. I've got a bunch of Pierre Ubu. I got a bunch of David Thomas stuff. I love his connection with the folks from Henry Cowan Slap Happy. That's just cool as hell. Where are we now? Oh, where's my Pierre Ubu? Ubu! Hi, Ubu! Other side. Oscar Peterson. Persuasions. Houston Person. Oh, here we go. All right. I have Pierre Ubu, The Modern Dance. Very first Pierre Ubu album. This is a weirdo music classic. I love this record. And this is the very first pressing, which was on the Blank Records label, distributed by Phonogram, way back in 1978, I think it was. Doesn't even have the copyright date on it. Let's go inside and grab this. I love this. For more information, write Pierre Ubu, 3206 Prospect Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. Yep, 1978 on Blank Records. And it's still in the original sleeve, which is poly-lined. Oh man, what an album that is! What a salvo that was issued upon the public with this album, The Modern Dance by Pierre Ubu. Anyway, and I've got The Art of Walking. This one is from... Where's the copyright date on these things? I forget what year this is. By the way there, Mr. Ridley, this is that is not a paper liner. That is a paper jacket that is poly lined. So only plastic touches the record. So you ain't gonna catch me on that one. But let's see. Peeraboo, The Art of Walking on Rough Trade US. Recorded in Painesville, Ohio at Suma. And this is a 1980 release. And another real big favorite Peeraboo album is Song of the Bailing Man, which came out... They're really good at hiding the copyright dates on these suckers, aren't they? I'm pretty sure that this is in the 80s as well. All right, let's open it up. Let's open. Produced by Adam Kidder in 1981. Yep, 1981. And the really cool thing about this Song of the Bailing Man album is that the record is cut at 45 RPM. And as a result, the audio quality on it is pretty darn impressive. That's it. Song of the Bailing Man. Oh, and I also have several David Thomas and the Wooden Birds. All right, I just pulled out Tool on him. I got the T's right over here. Let me just grab my David Thomas albums. Let's see. How many do I have? More than I thought. Okay. Got The Sound of the Sand and the Other Songs of the Pedestrian by David Thomas and the Pedestrians. Also put out by Rough Trade. And this is also cut on 45 RPM. We've got Winter Comes Home with David Thomas, Lindsay Cooper, and Chris Cutler. This is a massively cool record. This is from Recommended Records. And the thing I love about Winter Comes Home, it's about Cleveland. Because winter always comes home to Cleveland. Eventually. Here's another one. David Thomas, More Places Forever with Lindsay Cooper, Chris Cutler, and Tony Mamone. 1985 on Twin Tone Records. Lyrics. And let's see, last but not... Oh, we got more. Monster Walks the Winter Lake. The Winter Lake. With Paul Heyman, David Hill, Tommy Mamoni, Alan Ravenstein, David Thomas, Garo Yellen. This is so close to a Peeraboo album, but it is a David Thomas record. And this is also on Twin Tone. It doesn't say what year on the outside. Do we have a copyright? 1985. And oh yeah, that's right. I got this as a promo. It's been a long time since I played this, so I have to clean it and replace the sleeve on it. But it's got press material, because I got it when I was writing record reviews for Scene Magazine in Cleveland. Very cool. Now, wait a second. Ken Heyman lived about a block or two away from me in Fairview Park? Really? Any idea what street? That's crazy. That's just insane. Because I got a little story here. I'm going to talk because Ken Heyman, who produced this album, was also the original owner of Cleveland Recording Company and Suma Recording subsequently. I was working at a video store. Well, it was an electronics store that featured televisions and videotapes and stuff like that. And some guy comes in and he says, yeah, I just need a couple of connectors. So helped the guy out, helped him pick out the right connectors, took him up to the counter, checked him out. He handed over his MasterCard. And hold on a second. And it says Ken Heyman. And I was like, wait a minute. I know that name. And I said, are you the guy who produced Pere Ubu's modern dance album? And he says, yeah, I'm a producer and engineer. And I was like, I worship you. It was very, very cool. So that's my story about Ken Heyman and Pere Ubu. But didn't know that he lived in Fairview Park. That's crazy. Because he did work at Cleveland Recording, which was downtown Cleveland. That's where Grand Funk recorded like most of their early albums. James Gang recorded there. Many, many stories. All right. Speaking of Cleveland and people that are kind of from Cleveland, something sad happened yesterday. There was a death. And you know how I always report on deaths of people who I like in the music world. Martin Mull passed away yesterday. Now, most people know him as a comedian, and he's been on a number of sitcoms. He's been in some movies. The last time that I saw him was on the first season of the sitcom Not Dead Yet on ABC. He played the recently deceased husband of the wine bar that the main character goes to. And he appeared as a ghost because what the premise of the show is that the girl who is the main character of the show, she writes obituaries for a local newspaper. And whomever she is assigned as the person she's writing about, they appear to her. She can talk to them, they can talk to her, but nobody else sees that person. And as soon as she finishes writing the obituary and sends it off, that person disappears. But the weird thing is, Martin Mull, which was like the first person that she wrote, I forget what the character's name was, but he appeared a couple of times on the show. But that was the last time that I saw him. Apparently, according to his daughter Maggie, who reported his passing, is he had been battling a very long illness, and he was 80 years old when he passed away. So, this is his first album, which I was kind of not aware existed until I found it in a half-price books store and picked it up. This came out in 1973 or 72. This came out in 1972. And another thing about Martin Mull is that he was an artist, a visual artist. He was a painter, and he did the artwork for this album. All sorts of very cool imagery. All those little flying notes. These are all the songs. And something very cool about him is that a lot of people just looked upon him as like a comedy person, but he was very musical. He could play the guitar extremely well. On this first album, he plays piano, guitars, organ, and of course he sings, does background vocals. Levon Helm played drums on this first album. And who was the producer? I believe it was John Simon. John Simon was the producer, I believe. Anyway, so yeah, this is very cool. And yes, it's so hard to say au revoir. So let's just say hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvre, my darling. So let's take a look at some other Martin Mull albums. A lot of people think that this was his first album because this is the first one that really made a splash. It was Martin Mull and his fabulous furniture in your living room. This is a live record. Really nice. And there's the gatefold of it. And there's the back. One cool thing about Martin Mull's live shows is instead of having a big light show, he would bring actual furniture and living room lights out onto the stage, and that was his set for the stage. Now, the musicians that he used, because like there's a track on that first album that goes on for 7 minutes, has some extraordinary solos. It could be considered jazz. But listen to the lineup of players on this album. In addition to Martin, okay? Bill Elliott on piano, Keith Spring on tenor sax, Harvey Mason playing drums, Ray Brown on bass, Sneaky Pete Klenow playing steel guitar, David Grisman playing mandolin, Red Callender on tuba. Great stuff. And yes, you are absolutely right, Kevin. He was an underrated guitarist. What I thought was really fascinating was a couple of the TV series that he did, namely Dads and The Cool Kids. He did bring out a guitar and play it on the show. Here's another album. I don't have all of the Martin Mull albums, but here's one. Normal. This has also got an all-star lineup. Oh, and another great painting by Martin. This has, let's see, Amos Garrett plays electric guitar on here, in addition to Martin. Mike Moore on bass, Jimmy Madison drums, and let's see, let's continue with other tracks. Duke Williams on organ, Thad Jones on trumpet, Bernard Purdy on drums. Man. Joe Farrell on tenor sax, Don Adams on trombone, Pepper Adams on baritone sax, Chuck Leavell, keyboard player for the Rolling Stones, on piano. And this is on a track called The Blacks Are Giving Me the Blues. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, that's racist. But you know what? Martin was very much a person that rallied against racism and discrimination of all types. Remember, on the TV show Roseanne, he played a gay character, and it was one of the first gay marriages on an American sitcom. And so doing a song called The Blacks Are Giving Me the Blues and putting an all-star lineup of soul and jazz musicians rhythm and blues people on it is a big statement, saying a big middle finger to all of those racists out there. So, also, Martin Mull was a very staunch atheist. He had, what was the name of that song? Jesus is Easy. And there's a song on this one called Jesus Christ Football Star. This is a kind of greatest hits album that I have here next. And this was the first album that I got to listen to all the way through to by Martin Mull. And I got to listen to it because of, yes, he's in the chat room right now, Mr. Kevin Hart. And it's called No Hits, 4 Errors, the best of Martin Mull. Kind of a greatest hits. And the meaning of this title, No Hits, 4 Errors, is, according to his record company, he had no hits. But he did put out 4 albums. And on the back of the album, he states that when Phil Walden phoned me from the Capricorn Records main office in Macon, Georgia, because all these albums are on Capricorn Records, he was quite excited to tell me this new idea. He said, Martin, I'd like to take some of your best material and put it on a record album, and then do a really big promotion on it. And I said, Phil, I thought we were doing that all along. So it says, Phil went on to become quite wealthy, whereas I retreated to learn the ABCs of the recording industry. What that means is that after this, Martin got a contract with ABC Records. And here's one of the albums that came out. This is in 1977. I'm Everyone I've Ever Loved. And check out the people on this album. Somebody has already leaked one of those. Yep. Here we go. Ron Carter, Frank Foster, Steve Kahn, Robert Klein, the comedian, Melissa Manchester on vocals, Leon Pendarvis, Chuck Rainey on bass. What is this, a Steely Dan album? No, it's not Martin Mull. Rob Reiner's on this. Richard T. plays keys. Tom Waits is on this album. Eddie Wise. And many others. As a matter of, let's see if I can find. Ed Begley Jr. does vocals on this album. Michael Kuskuna, who recently passed away. Yes, the guy who was responsible for rejuvenating Blue Note Records in the mid-'80s. He's on this album, doing a vocal part. Let's see. Anthony Jackson on bass. Mike Manieri on vibes. I already said Amos Garrett. Tasha Thomas, Billy Crystal. And there's also a song that was co-written by Steve Martin, I believe. I forget it, but yeah, he was comedy royalty, all right. And the last album that I have by him is Sex and Violins. Ah, this is the one that has Westward Ho, which was co-written with Steve Martin. Let's see, on this album, Tommy Tedesco on guitar, as well as Martin Mull. Man, the people he had played on this. Tommy Tedesco also played banjo on this. Wendy Haas on keyboards. Ray Brown again on bass. Background vocals by Melissa Manchester. Harry Shearer's on this record. Orchestra conducted by Frank DeVol, who wrote the theme song to the Brady Bunch and played the role of Happy Kine on the Fernwood Tonight and America Tonight TV shows, which we'll talk about in a moment here. Who else? Yeah, just a great bunch of people playing on this album. Very funny, very witty man. We're going to miss his wit and his wisdom. And I believe if you look online, you can find some of his paintings. Now, when I was going through these, all of a sudden, I found in the liners of, which album was it? Of the Saxon Violins album, I found some things. I found a promo sheet for the Martin Mull album. And I found some newspaper clippings. By the way, folks, how does my signal look? Does it look good? Let's take a quick look here. Make sure everything looks fine.
$5.
Oh, shut up.
That's enough to make a difference in this election.
Barack, I told you, stop calling me. Okay, yep, everything looks good. So let me get rid of that and go back to my live stream. Live stream. Hello. There we go. Okay, we're back. Found this clipping here. Martin Mull relies on ad-libs. Now, I don't know what newspaper this came from, but it had to be in the 70s, I think. I mean, no, wait, this had to be after he played on America Tonight, and after he was in the movie FM, which spawned the WKRP TV series. And this clipping was right after the Saxon Violins album came out. Okay. And this is from the Cleveland Press, I believe. And this says, Mull can do no wrong at the Palace. I believe this is a review of a show that I saw with, of all people, my late mother. Now, she wasn't my late mother when she went to the show with me, but she liked Martin Mull because she was a big fan of Mary Hartman, which Martin played on, and also a fan of the America Tonight show, even though she didn't get the majority of the jokes. Now, last but definitely not least, the other thing that fell out of this record jacket when I pulled it out was this thing here called The Shopper's News and Entertainment TV Guide. Look at this thing. And right on the front is a picture of Frank DeVol, Martin Mull as Barth Gimble, and yep, that's right, Fred Willard as Jerry Hubbard. Now, the one thing that these three men had in common, aside from the fact that they were all pretty damn talented, is that they all have a Northeast Ohio connection. Martin did live in North Ridgeville and in North Olmsted for a while. So, very interesting. So, okay, here we go. Here's a Cleveland question for you from the past. Kevin says, was your family a press or PD? Well, for the longest time, we had both papers coming to the house for a while. And then, of course, the Cleveland Press kind of really fell into disarray. We canceled our Cleveland Press subscription, and we had the PD for a while, and now we don't get the newspaper at all. But the Plain Dealer still publishes every day. I see it when I go in to buy my lottery tickets. But here's something very interesting that I saw in here. This little newsletter is not a joke. It's not a joke. But some of these articles and a lot of these ads are very laughable. For taking a look at this is 1978, now it's 2024. We've got letters to diet doctor shows lighter side to losing weight. There's an article about Betty Ford's problems. Betty Ford is insisting that her husband, Gerald, not seeking re-election to the presidency, and he is ignoring his wife's wishes, despite the fact that his frequent absences are considered by close friends to be the main cause of Betty's alcohol and drug addiction problems. Okay, there's Count Manalesco gives detailed telephone consultations for $25. He's from Studio City, California. But let's take a look at this last page here. All of these ads. They're all for bingo nights. St. Sergius. St. Mary's. What's that one there? That's St. Michael's. All of these ads for bingo night. So I guess that was their audience for this thing. See, high school students angered by Anita Bryant. Check this out. The poll of 800 junior and senior high students was conducted by Ladies' Home Journal in January and is reported in the current July issue of the magazine. Let's see here. The students selected Abraham Lincoln and Eleanor Roosevelt as the man and woman who have done the most good for the world, Richard Nixon and Anita Bryant as the people who make them angriest, and Bob Hope and Carol Burnett as bringing the most laughter into the world. This is all truth. I mean, this stuff was really published, and I don't know if this is considered a legitimate newspaper or not. Crazy stuff. And, we got our prices on coffee. Folgers. A 1 pound electric perk can of Folgers coffee, $2.88. 100 paper plates, 67 cents. The Shell Pest Strip, 98 cents. Umbrellas for $3.50. Pringles potato chips, a twin pack for 78 cents. Damn. All right, that's all the stuff that I found in a Martin Mull record sleeve from the late 70s. Oh, crazy, 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 crazy. Oh, yes, in St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast, where I stole the margarine. Oh. Nuts, huh? Hey, have you seen the news about Linkin Park putting out hi-fi reissues of 3 of their albums? They're going to be one-step remasters. They're going to cost $100 a piece. I don't own any Linkin Park albums, but I sure wouldn't pay $100 for each of them. That's not to put down you Linkin Park fans. A lot of people love Linkin Park, and they sold a gajillion albums. But Steven Wilson on his podcast, The Album Years, had a very, very accurate description of Linkin Park. Take some heavy metal, take some Eminem type hip hop, and apply the production of Nine Inch Nails. Mash it all together. You've got Linkin Park. What an accurate description of Linkin Park. Because they rap for a little bit and then they go screamo for a little bit. Very interesting stuff. But hey, they made a lot of money. Oh, where are we at? We're 51 minutes into the show. I have been just rambling on forever, haven't I? So, next week, well, first of all, let's talk about a birthday that's happening today. Something good. Somebody's got a birthday, and it's Zappa related. Yes, today is the birthday of, you know him, you love him, you can't live without him, Robert, or also known as Bobby Martin from Philadelphia. And he is currently a member of the Zappa tribute band, the Band from Utopia. And the members of this band are Bobby Martin on keyboards, vocals, and saxophone, Scott Tunis on bass, Bob Mangiano on drums, Jamie Kime on guitar, and Joel Taylor is the other member. Let's see. Joel Taylor on drums, I'm sorry. Robbie Mangiano on guitar and vocals. Jamie Kime on second guitar. Joel Taylor on drums. Okay. And of course, Scott Tunis on bass. Bobby Martin on vocals, keys, and brass. And the amazing Ray White on vocals and guitar. Now, I go into detail about that because a week from tonight, they are playing in Cleveland at the Beachland Ballroom. And yes, you are correct, Mowgli. Bobby did sing Whippin' Post. But a week from tonight, they're going to be playing at the Beachland Ballroom. I want to go and see this show. Now, if I do end up going to see that show, there will be no live stream next week for good reason. I'll try and do something, but I want to go see the show, but I'm not completely sure that I can do it or not. There may be complications here at the house that I have to take care of. So, if you see me, I'll be lamenting the fact that I'm not watching a concert. But if you don't see me, I'm going to be checking out the band from Utopia. And trust me, I'm going to be taking mental notes because I've seen many Zappa tribute bands, and a lot of Zappa tribute bands are very poor. A lot of them can play the notes, but they can't put the eyebrows on it. They can't give it the right spin that the Zappa music needs to be authentic and really rock out. Now, there was another Zappa tribute band called Furious Bongos. Get it? Bongo Fury. They played Cleveland recently. I didn't get to go to see them, but I've watched videos of them on YouTube. They're not bad, and they can get all the notes. But it seems that their players are trying their damnedest to put in as much notes as they possibly can and show off as much as they possibly can. All at the same time. There's not give and take. The music doesn't breathe. So, yeah. So, I'm hoping that I get to go to see the band from Utopia, or just band from Utopia, because as I've shown on this live stream before, they used to be just called Band, B-A-N-D, from Utopia, but they've been in existence for a long time. At one point in time, they were denied to play Frank Zappa's music by Gail Zappa. So they changed the name from B-A-N-D from Utopia to B-A-N-N-E-D from Utopia. And they've kept that. But they're kind of okay, especially since Scott, Bobby, and Ray White have all been in the Zappa band, the band that's fronted by Joe Travers, the Vaultmeister, on drums, and also has Sheila Gonzalez, who has been and will be touring with Dweezil's band. Oh, and speaking of Dweezil's band, have you been watching Dweezil's videos on Facebook and on Instagram? Mighty clever. He's making some funny videos, but he did preview some merch that's going to be available on the tour, and I can't wait to buy this. Check that t-shirt out. No matter what your political leaning, that is a cool shirt. So I definitely intend on getting that t-shirt. I'm hoping he doesn't have real cheapo t-shirts. I've bought t-shirts from his shows before, and they've been extremely thin and fall apart quickly. I like t-shirts that I can save for a while. And just about all of my original Zappa t-shirts are good condition. Right now I got a Grateful Dead t-shirt on, so, you know. Let's see. And that's not true. Sheila wasn't in the Zappa. That's right. I was wrong, Joe. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me on that. Sheila is a member of One Shot Deal. She wasn't in the Zappa band. That's right. Ed Mann, who has left us, was shortly a member of the Zappa band. Completely correct. That's the Vaultmeister right there, folks. The Vaultmeister. Thank you for correcting me, Joe. I was just running off at the mouth, and, you know, sometimes I just talk too much. All right. Well, listen, we're coming up on 58 minutes and 34 seconds. I've had a lot of fun, although the only thing that I really had that I was going to definitely talk about tonight was the Martin Mull stuff. But we got onto a whole bunch of things, and a lot of that is due to you folks watching and commenting in the chat room. That always steers the show in a very cool direction. Roman didn't come down tonight because he's busy playing video games. And this dude, he's got video games going here, and he's got FaceTime going here with several of his friends. It's the way these kids communicate nowadays. They don't go to each other's house. They stay home, and they all do virtual visiting with each other. Kind of cool, I think. So, I'm going to restart the music here. Turn it down a little bit. And I'm going to say that, once again, next week, I might be here. I might not be here. I hope to go see Band from Utopia. And I appreciate you stopping by. Please, right now, hit that like button right there. Hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'm not going to tell you to give me money because that's cheesy. It's abrupt, but they do have the little plus sign on there, and whatever. So I hope all of you have a fantastic week. I will see you Maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks. But until then, stay tuned for your local news, except on the West Coast. I had a great time, and I hope you did too. Go listen to some music, because it's one of the more fun things to do. And I love this. Very well timed. And you kids get off my lawn. Yes, I'm turning 65 this month. Have a good night, folks. Thank you for stopping by. Later. Good night.